Coming up on this week's All About Hennessey show,
Superintendent Jason Sternberger drops by to give us an update on various school projects. We meet Mark Fuqua, owner of M&D Enterprises, and learn about everything they have to offer. This show made possible in part by Cimarron Electric, serving members in Northwest Oklahoma with clean, reliable power since 1936. CimarronElectric.com.
and Seaboard Foods. At Seaboard Foods, our work matters to our families, our communities, and the people who rely on us to produce delicious pork products. Today, we're going to talk to Jason. Hi, Jason.
How are you doing?
Good. Is this the first day back, or have you even gone back to school yet?
Students reported Wednesday. Yes.
Okay, we're recording this on
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So they reported today.
First day back.
Yeah,
yes.
reported today. Teachers came in yesterday. We had nice professional development over school safety, and really did have a good in service. Had teachers really commending that. So
a lot of good things
do everything
going
you
on.
can to try to keep the kids safe for sure.
Yes, and we're going to talk about that. This is the conversation I wanted to have before we went over the first of the year.
Okay.
Kind of like a recap of what you did last year, and some of those things were like redoing the parking lot at the visitor side of the football field.
You expanded that.
Yep.
Yes.
It's all gravel now.
It's
and
all gravel
flat
now and expanded it to
and it's
where
bigger.
the cable fence,
Yep.
and do that. Probably come back in with some safety lighting for at night, So
That's
haven't
cool.
got that yet. But
And then the long-awaited track
yes.
is done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a small press box up. We've brought in a storage unit that we can keep the pole vault pads and high jump mats and everything in.
So you can keep them right there.
So we can keep them, keep them right there. Which in turn, where we did keep them, that's allowed us to go back in and have an indoor hitting facility for the softball girls.
Oh, that's the old
now.
bus barn.
Yeah, that's
Really?
So now it's on the east side. So the boys
okay.
and girls are no longer having to share the one in the left field fence. No, it's not handy necessarily in the sense of they have to walk over, but considering
is
that they've got
indoors,
something
too.
they can hit inside, exactly.
Oh.
So that opened up space for them just by buying a shipping container. But the track's redone.
And there's some lighting.
We put in 4 lights with speakers on each pole, because in Western Oklahoma, how many times you hear the announcer talking and you're on the south side and
Can't
you got
hear
that
anything.
wind, you can't hear anything. So we've got speakers and lights on all 4 poles. So for those that want to come up and take advantage of a walk of an evening, just please keep anything with wheels off the track, strollers and what have you. And if you have strollers, you can use the one on the football field. But if you the track. On the track part is, it's very nice to walk on, and so
We spent an
it's lit
enormous
pretty
amount
well.
of money on us. We
They
really got to
did.
take care of it.
They did.
Yeah.
We're excited because Coach Baxter, she's put together where we're going to host elementary and a middle school meet this year as a test run for next year, bringing in high school,
Okay.
and that way she can get things lined up and we can see. But we've got our timing systems. We've still got a few things to get in place.
Those are big events. They bring a lot of people.
And that's the idea, is to try to get people into town and showcase not only the school but what we have in town. So
Awesome. And then you did some work. Well, we had a leak at the softball field.
I had a big leak at the softball field over that very cool snap that we had right before
Got a
Christmas.
little brisk.
A little brisk, yeah. And so, where it was back there, I mean, there's no telling how much before they caught it and notified us, but it is stopped and they're supposed to get it fixed. Which had, and I got to commend, Gary and Donnie and Aaron, and all the guys that came up. We made sure, we knowing that snap was coming, they walked through every building, turned on the faucets, and kept things going. But we still had the FFA building, which the heat wasn't in, and there was a small water leak above. Well, the leak may have been small itself, but it masked into a good size
into a
leak.
big one,
Yeah,
yes.
but luckily it was a self-contained, basically classroom. Didn't bleed into the shop too much. We're in the process right now getting that fixed. We're gonna. Didn't replace too much sheetrock, a little bit, and get a new floor out of the deal, and that ruined a few computers, but
Could have been a lot
nothing.
worse.
Nothing.
Nothing like the last time.
Nothing like what happened.
We lost the whole high school.
When you
pretty
lost the
much.
whole high school, yeah. So made sure, like you said, the auditorium, that north wind usually gets exposed, and we turn the heat up in it, and everything is just
No, I commend Gary because that auditorium has always been a problem when it gets that cold. That's the
Yeah.
first place I drive by to see if there's
Make
water,
sure no
water
water's-
running out the door.
Yeah.
But no, he did a good job, kept the heat up, and
They did. Considering what we had, we're very fortunate.
And you've done some lighting things at the auditorium to get the seating lighting back up to speed.
We have tried to just basically replace everything that needed to be burnt out. I think that was the main deal, of
Right.
just going through there. And so,
And then now I know because I was very involved when they built the dome, that you built the generator stand outside the dome, but never put the generator in.
Yes.
And you have now taken care of that.
we have taken care of that. And that generator is not powerful enough that it's going to operate the whole dome where you could continue to have a basketball game or anything like that. But the main intent was, one, to protect our server room and computer internet system, the infrastructure of our internet. That was the main intent. There are going to be a few other, you get enough power elsewhere that there's going to be lighting in there, but you couldn't have a full function event. But of course, more likely, if power's throughout town, you're not going to have a full function event
I think
anyway.
the point of that was that if there was ever this really big event, that would be the Red Cross shelter. And
During the initial planning.
and that's why there were handicap restrooms installed. I mean, in the shower rooms, there's
Okay.
handicap showers and things like that in case.
So you learn something on your show all the time.
Yeah, in case something big happened, that
Yeah.
would be the Red Cross shelter. So
And then the other Generac that we bought, we have the little basement area underneath the cafeteria in the high school, and it floods. And when it floods,
keep
we
that
do
pump
have a sump
running.
pump. Well,
Yeah.
a lot of times when it's raining and storming and electricity goes out, so
that's when you need it.
that's when you need it the most. So we hooked it up to that, but also to the freezers there at the high school.
Oh,
so
I
that
hadn't
way
even
we don't
thought of
have
that.
that way you don't have to worry about food getting spoiled if we have something go out, due to loss of power.
And then you've installed a lot of fencing.
Yeah, the other fence, and you were at the board meeting. Dr. Matusik brought up the request of just the fencing around just needed to be replaced, and you don't realize how bad it is until they went in. And luckily, we could do it right, and you had a little concrete curb installed, and then that black vinyl fencing. It looks wonderful. We received
really,
a lot
really
of
nice now.
compliments, and it's really dressed the area up.
And then you've also put security fencing around some of the
Yes, a lot of the
power
HVAC power areas, things like that, where kids just can't come in and flip a handle and pop
off
the power
stuff.
off, or HVAC units, mechanics running, that type of deal.
And then I think the big one, the finale, is the epic ditch in front of the elementary school.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I guess it's in front of that whole
The whole length of the
road.
campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're visited with engineers. They sent me a weekly update right before we left for break. They're planning on having something for us at the board meeting, whether it's I think the main thing is kind of a budget estimate. And then hopefully they have some possible plans. They're not going to go real in depth because they want to get the budget, make sure we're comfortable with that before going to the plans. But one of the things they had talked about was, like you mentioned before the shows, it's not just running the water, putting a pipe in and letting it run right down. There are some elevation things, and so they've considered
engineering.
there is some engineering issues over there. There's some some drainage issues between that football field and the campus, and so one of the things they talked about was when it comes in from the north, jumping to the east side and then extending it to the south. So I haven't had a chance to visit with them this week to find out what they've come up with, and if they, 6 one way, half a dozen the other. And
Now I know when the dome was being planned, that area in front of the middle school and elementary school was going to be additional parking. Is that sort of long-term thing?
the discussions we've had at board meetings, that is, and so it would be nice if you just had the budget where you could fill it in and do it all at once.
Right.
Anticipating, anytime you're talking with the dirt work and the planning that's going to go on.
It always gets bigger.
Yeah, it does. It gets bigger and get out of hand pretty quick, especially, still the unknown cost of all the things that are going on for sure. So I doubt if we can just get the dirt first and then probably do the concrete or paving of whatever we do
Another time.
and do it in stages, and then get to that
Good.
point. So
'Cause I know that there's always been lacking parking
Yes.
along that stretch, and
Yeah.
that would be just for the schools alone, never mind
just for the
events
school
or
day,
anything.
yeah. And so we tried to alleviate that on activities on that south visitor parking lot, which helped. It helped get a few people off the street. And
Well, and you also fixed on the east side of Mitchell you've fixed that where it drains better and there's a little more gravel.
Yeah.
So it's not a mud hole.
Yeah, David,
park.
they do come in and did that, yes.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything I'm missing?
Not that I'm aware. I'm sure there is, but
We'll
nothing I can think
something
of.
else, yo. That'll be, a
Be a
whole
good
nother
excuse
show.
for another show.
Yeah, good deal. All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Jack. I appreciate it.
Stay tuned. This show made possible in part by DK Recycling of Hennessey, 405-853-6951, and Integris Bass Baptist Health Center, IntegrisOK.com. Today I have Mark Fuqua. Did I get that?
Pretty close.
Okay, what is it?
Fuqua.
Few. Geez.
It's all right. People
That's
say it
all
like
right.
that all the time.
And Mark owns M&D Enterprises, and it's sort of like the Swiss Army knife of outdoor stuff.
We like to say, and we just coined this phrase this year, for your best backyard, porch, or patio, we're your people.
You've seen the ads. Ivan will put the ad up here because, I mean, they're everywhere.
Right.
And he's been working with us for almost a year now, I guess,
Yep,
maybe
yep,
over a
right
year
at
now.
a year, a little over.
And you've got, how many stores are there?
We have 5 stores that are manned locations.
Where are they at?
We start down south in Weatherford, Oklahoma, all of them in Oklahoma. So Weatherford, Canton, Sealing, and 2 in Woodward.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're, so let's run your product line.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
the big items.
Everything for your backyard and then some. We do portable buildings, storm shelters, carports, garages, lawnmowers. We're probably the largest volume mower dealer in western Oklahoma. We sell 6 or 7 different lines. It varies. Some come, some
Depends
go.
on what you need.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
And we've got the big names: Grasshopper, Hustler, Toro.
Oh, you're a grasshopper dealer.
We are a grasshopper.
That's hard
dealer.
to get.
Yeah, it is.
Wow,
And
okay.
we have been enjoying that for a couple of years now. People that like good equipment,
Yep.
Grasshopper, if they're into commercial type.
I didn't realize that, we bought a new mower a few years ago, but that Grasshopper brand that's like, Ford Chevrolet stuff.
It's
When
legendary.
you buy it, it's
Yeah.
you don't change. So.
We joke that it's almost cultish because once they've had a Grasshopper, they don't
back
want
up.
anything else
They
hardly.
don't go
yeah.
backwards. And then you were telling me earlier that this is coming. We're over the January thing. Storm season is coming, and you have some storm shelters
We
on sale.
we do have sales on our storm shelters right now. What happens every year? People want to wait until it's storm season to order their storm shelter.
Wait until they're standing out looking at the storm.
The
Hey, we need
tornado's
one.
coming over the hill. Hey, M&D, do you have a storm shelter? Yeah, and it's going to be about 3 months before we can put that in. Where if they order now,
Yep.
we can usually put it in within 30 days or so. So we try to run this special to get people to go ahead and place that order so they'll have it by storm season, not wait until storm season where it's so
Yep.
busy that we had a 3 month.
just can't get it. You'll get it for the next year's storm season.
Well,
Yeah.
and it is. We joke about it a little internally. Some of the same people have hit us up 3 or 4 years in a row, and they always wait. And then they're like, "Well,
Next
it
year.
won't even be here until after storm season.
Yeah,
I'll just wait
don't
till
need
next
it.
year." Right.
Sure. Dig a hole. And then the portable buildings. I know you've.
We sell for Dirksen.
I see those all over the place.
Yeah, it's one of
Yes.
the largest, oldest names in. I think it is the oldest portable building name in the business. Mennonite brand,
Yep.
and really well built structures. And right now they have like a 10% off on most of those buildings. So there's definitely some deals out there right now.
I tried to build one a few years ago. Just going and buying the lumber and buying one like that. So much better product.
Yeah, I was gonna
and you have it that fast. And
Right. I was going to say, if you can build one, the quality that these guys build one for the money they can build it for, I'd be impressed because it's pretty hard to
The
do.
volume
Yeah.
building and being able to build inside of a building
Right.
where it's you
and,
have
and do it in a day, not where it would take me 6 months to try to build that building. And they can put out 4 or 5 of them a day
Yep.
and still keep the quality there. When you're buying your lumber by the train load, like they do, it makes a big difference.
using jigs to
Sure,
make sure they're square
sure.
and you can move much faster.
Right on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And well, you were telling me earlier that this thing didn't start off this way. It started as a small. What was your first product?
I was just going to put some. I used to have a car lot in Canton.
Okay.
And the building that we are in Canton, I owned that building, and I was just going to put a couple of portable buildings and some storm shelters and a couple of carports out there, and just piddle with
Right.
outdoor backyard stuff just in Canton. And as things do sometimes, they just kind of went from there, and now we're 5 stores and a top 10 mower dealer in the nation. And, you know, we have been blessed, and we're very thankful for our customers who make that possible. I mean, we certainly, doesn't matter what we do, if we don't have them, we can't do anything.
Well, Mark, it says a lot about your service and the product you sell, that if people, you know, like what you do, you're gonna grow.
Right.
I mean, you can't hold it back.
Right.
And obviously, that's kind of what happened to you.
Well, it
took
seems
off.
to be something good happened, and we're thankful. We worked hard to get it, but you know, we still can't do it without the customer.
So, are you going to get a store on this side of the state, like in Hennessey?
You know, it is funny. We've been approached by Fairview people in Hennessey, and 2 years ago when COVID hit, we were getting sought after fairly hard to come this direction, and I just couldn't do it. We didn't have the inventory to even fill the stores we had.
Yeah, when you
because,
had with COVID stuff, you couldn't even get
So
things.
you go get the expense of opening another store, but you don't have the product to supply it. You're going to look a little silly. So I just kind of dug my feet in and held my ground for a while. But we're always looking for new opportunities, and it is exciting to think about expansion to the east, because the further east you go, the more populous you get, and the bigger the population, the greater the opportunity. And I feel like if we can survive in western Oklahoma, we could probably make it just about anywhere, because it's tough times and tough people out here a lot. So and if you can make it through that, you're probably going to go on and do okay wherever. So,
and I'm sure the reason you're able to, you know, keep your prices in line is because of volume.
we try to do volume.
You know, a local owned company, even though you have multiple locations,
Right.
that's really, really important.
Right. Well, and if we didn't have the multiple locations, we couldn't do the volume, which helps us keep our prices where, you know, in line. And I'd like to think you can't buy a mower anywhere any cheaper. I mean, we try to do whatever we can. We never ask MSRP. We always sell at promo, you know, lower pricing. And we sell probably 500 mowers a year.
And you repair your own stuff.
We do. We as a matter of fact, we have a heck of a service business on the mower side, and we just began what we call our winter service special, where we encourage people to go ahead and we'll discount the pricing to go ahead and get them in this winter, keep our mechanics busy. Get them ready for spring before spring, much like the
Well,
storm
what I
shelter.
do is I'm going to do that next year.
Yeah.
And then before long, the
Yeah.
blades are like this long because
Right.
they're all worn down.
Right.
And, geez, yeah.
So we like to let our professionals get a hold of them, service the engine, check the blades, the pulleys, the belts, and have you ready to roll for next spring when the grass starts growing.
Very cool. Now, you also sell like carports and metal buildings.
We sell large metal structures or small ones, from small carports to enclosed garages to large ag structures, lean-tos, horse sheds. We've got some great specials on those right now, up to 30% off on $10,000 or more structures, and
these are buildings like the one we're in here.
Very
like
much so.
a shop-
You know,
a
you can get
regular
a
shop
20 by
building.
40 shop or a 10 by 12 by 20 or
Well, you
whatever.
know, when I see those, you know, you see them on the side of the road, the carports. We think that's what we're talking. But you're talking about real metal buildings.
We sell, well, it is carport frame.
Right.
Or up to 30 wide, and then over 30 wide, we get into a truss style frame.
Okay.
But yeah, for an economical structure to protect your stuff,
RV
can't beat
or
them.
tools or
RV, we
workshop?
sell a bunch of RV ports, tall, you know, RV ports for people to store their RVs in.
Very cool. Mark, thank you so much for hanging out today.
Hey, thank you.
You
It's
bet.
great to meet you.
Be sure to click the subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to be sure you never miss an episode of the All About Hennessey Show. Check out this week's All About Hennessey Post newspaper and subscribe for free at allabouthennessey.com.